ProfsCast with Professor Fensterle and guests. Yeah, the first ProfsCast and my first guest, and I'm so happy to have here Matthias Becker from the University in Wuerzburg. And Matthias, you are a stem cell researcher and a nuclear researcher, I always say. Is that correct or is that completely wrong?
Well, actually, I define myself as a molecular cell biologist. Okay, so that is actually the correct ref to my person, basically. Okay. So I'm a molecular cell biologist, and the cells I'm dealing with are stem cells, basically. Yes.
Okay, so your focus is on stem cells.
Exactly.
And when I remember the times at the MSZ, so your focus was stem cells, and it was also all these proteins in the nucleus and so on. Am I correct?
You're correct. So my focus, the molecular cell biologist. So we have the cell side, that's the stem cell, and the molecules that I'm interested in actually are molecules that you'll find typically in the nucleus, and they regulate transcription, basically.
Okay.
These molecules.
So it's about stem cells, it's about these molecules regulating it, it's about chromatin and so on. And we will go, of course, in more depth later on.
Yeah.
But you're in Wuerzburg. So at what institute are you actually located here at the University of Wuerzburg?
So I'm at the Institute of Medizinische Strahlenkunde und Zellforschung.
That is your current station, but maybe you can give me a bit of an idea where you actually come from. What is your scientific career?
Okay, so my current location actually has changed. I'm no longer in that building, so I moved away from that building. So I'm still in the same institute, but I moved away from the building. Wonderful building we're in now. So anyway, my bringing up in science basically locally happened. It started out in Karlsruhe. That's where I studied biology. And yes, it's not very famous for biology, but yes, you can study biology in Karlsruhe. It's actually more famous for engineering. Karlsruhe is that city that is located in Germany at the wonderful Rhine, in the Rhine Valley, basically. And but it's more known for engineering and chemistry and stuff like that. But you can also study biology, and this is where I studied. And I did my PhD actually also in Karlsruhe. Nowadays, all this has fused and is now called the KIT. So the university fused with a research, big research institution that was there in Karlsruhe, or still is there in Karlsruhe. It's only fused with the university, but I did my PhD actually in that research area, in this research institution, this large area there. And that institution actually was founded originally as an institution to do research on nuclear power. And there was one institute, I see the nuclear thing coming in here, and how good you feel about it. But there was one institute in there, in this Forschungszentrum Karlsruhe. This is what it's, Research Center Karlsruhe. This is what it was originally called. There's one institute in there that originally was started as analyzing the biological functions or the biological effects of radiation on the body, on cells. Mm-hmm. And then this institute moved into cancer research, and this is where I did my PhD in biology in this institute.
It's good that with respect to nuclear research, you didn't go to nuclear power research, because that, with respect to the future of nuclear power research, at least there are some question marks. Whereas the nuclear research with respect to stem cells is still
okay.
Okay, and a living
still
field.
doing fine.
So therefore, it was a good decision.
Yeah, I think
if nuclear, then stay in the cell and not in the atom.
Not in the atom. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true. Yes.
So okay, but is that so? This is Karlsruhe. This is studying biology, and now you're in stem cell research, as we learn, and nuclear research, and of course we will talk more a bit more in detail later on about your research. But for studying, you were always in Karlsruhe then? Or
I was always in Karlsruhe to study. I was always in Karlsruhe. After my PhD, actually, I went abroad. I went to the US, to the NIH, the National Institutes of Health. And I was then working there at the National Cancer Institute.
But already in stem cells, or there was?
No, there was more the molecular side of my nowadays working field. I
term myself as a molecular and so.
Yeah. So I come more from the molecules. Actually, I was really studying the behavior of molecules in living cells, and these factors were chromatin-associated factors. So how do these factors interact with chromatin while they're doing their job? And at that time, I was still looking into steroid hormone receptors. How do they move around in the nucleus, and how do they interact with chromatin? And I was really doing that by doing microscopy, actually, live cell microscopy. And this is where I come from. So I had this chromatin factor interaction interest, and from that I moved into more aspects of gene regulation, of transcriptional regulation, and a different set of chromatin interacting factors.
Yeah, so for the viewers here, I can tell you, for more details, the complete podcast with Matthias will be on the podcast platforms. They will be described in the link, so everything will be there, especially and more details about the research, and it's really worth to listen to it.
Okay.
Yeah, Matthias, so Karlsruhe, a long time, then you left it as a supporter of the VfB Stuttgart. Of course, I can understand that people leave Karlsruhe, but you still stay with the Karlsruhe SC, as I know.
Totally. And my son, actually, who's a diehard fan of Bayern Munich, it's not easy for me at home, you know.
Okay, Matthias. Yeah. So I thank you very much for this being here. So it's incredible. So I think I had my best guests already at the beginning, and I'm not really sure what should come afterwards.
After that,
so
right?
I'm really happy. I'm really glad to have you here, and I think we learned a lot now about all this stem cells. We're all now, if we're not KSC supporters, but we're all stem cell research supporters now, and all this Polycom stuff. We're fascinated. Thank you very much for giving us your insights.
My pleasure.
And I hope we meet again soon. And of course, we have to say with a badisches Bier, cheers. So I equipped myself for this meeting with a correct beer that I have.
Wow, you actually drink that every time, right? I mean, because it's just the good stuff, right?
Yeah, so it's not so bad.
It's not only for this occasion. But come on.
Thank you very much, and looking forward to having you again soon.
My pleasure. Bye.